I'm Kristin Phillips, and I'm so excited to be able to share the story of Ruth and Boaz with you. So the book of Ruth takes place in the Old Testament during the time of the Judges. So in Israel's history, this is a violent and a sinful time where everyone does whatever is right in their own eyes. We have the story of Naomi and Elimelech, who are married. They live in Bethlehem, but there's a famine in the land. So they take their 2 sons to the land of Moab. And there, Naomi's 2 sons meet Moabite women, Orpah and Ruth, and they marry them. But over time, Naomi's husband, Elimelech, dies, and sadly, her 2 sons die as well. So Naomi finds herself in this foreign land without the ones that she loved most. So she tells her 2 daughters-in-law, Orpah and Ruth, to go back home to their mother's houses, to their families, back to worshiping their pagan gods. And Orpah does, but Ruth is adamant she's not going to leave her mother-in-law, Naomi. So they go back to Bethlehem together. But when they return, it's harvest season in Bethlehem. And to make ends meet for Naomi and Ruth, Ruth goes to work in the fields, gleaning behind the workers. And the field that she works in belongs to a man named Boaz. And Boaz is a relative of Elimelech. And this is important because there's a connection where Boaz can actually be a redeemer for Ruth. And that means that she's able to marry him, and they're able to keep Elimelech's family land with the family name. So ultimately, Boaz and Ruth get married, and they have a baby named Obed. And Obed grows up to have a little boy named Jesse, who grows up to have a little boy named David. And this is the same David who takes out a giant warrior with a single stone and grows up to be a king after God's own heart, who ultimately is part of the bloodline of Jesus the Messiah. And I love how God is at work in this story. We see him take a situation where she finds herself in this foreign land. She's lost the people who mean the most to her, but God provides her with someone really special who loves her and cares for her and joins her on this journey back to her homeland. And we also see God's timing and how good it is. We see that they're returning during the season of the harvest, where God plants Ruth right in the middle of Boaz's path. And then we see how God is faithful and he provides. He's always connecting some of our hardest moments and hardest seasons together with others for his glory. And so we get to be a part of his plan and fulfill his purposes even when we don't know it in that moment. I hope you're encouraged by the story of Ruth and Boaz this Christmas season.